Page 6 now, maximum pressure on a country that has minimum human rights, Iran. The Trump State Department now has a new plan to cripple the Islamist radicals, bring the Iranian regime to its knees by choking off all oil exports.
Our focus is on getting as many countries importing Iranian crude down to zero as soon as possible.
All right, so the goal is clear. Get as many countries as possible to reject Iranian oil until Iran's exports are down to zero. But can it be done? Joining me now, the founder of the American Truth Project and Daily Ledger contributor, Barry Nussbaum. Barry, the answer is yes, it can be done. That is, unless the European Union cares more about money it gets from Iran than it does nuclear war.
You're exactly right, Graham. Although what's very interesting about the sanctions is the worldwide enforcement against the specific companies that have already contracted to do business with Iran. Over 50 international corporations have buckled under to the United States and have said they will no longer do business with Iran, even if they are under contract to do business with Iran. That will be devastating to the international cooperation of these companies and their counterparts inside the Iranian regime. Iran is going to economically collapse from within if these sanctions really are enforced. And for the first time, Graham, I think this is a State Department working for a president that's going to do it.
Yep, these are all good signs. These are all positive signs. It's the maximum pressure we should be putting on this terrorist regime. Now, at home, there is some pressure on the president to possibly release some oil reserves to try and counteract prices at the pump. But you know what? We're nowhere near we were under Barack Obama, the previous president, back in 2010 through 2014. It was $1 more per gallon back then.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes that have happened in the last year to 2 years, especially since Trump moved into the White House. I don't think we really need to access our strategic petroleum reserves, Graham. Trump talked to the head of Saudi Arabia. They have drastically increased and ramped up production as a response to the president's request. Russia is signaling they will do the same. Remember, Trump will be talking to Putin shortly. And get this, U.S. production is at an all-time high.
Yep.
So what does that mean? Iran's oil gets cut off, the rest of the world steps up, and Iran goes bankrupt. I predict something like that is going to happen in the next 90 days.
Yeah, and we're a net exporter nation now, which is a wonderful thing. So we can fill that
Exactly.
gap from the Iran doesn't really produce all that much oil on the world stage. Now, there's good news and some bad news on the healthcare front. Good news is there are more choices on the horizon through Obamacare. The bad news is it's going to cost you more.
Yeah, this is a really interesting thing, Graham. One of Trump's key platforms when he ran for office was, I'm going to unwind the tragedy that is Obamacare. And since he's come to office, he's done exactly that. Surprisingly, as he begins to unwind all the constraints that are anti-free market, and the Democrats are screaming at the president that he is, quote, sabotaging the beauty of Obamacare, more insurers are coming back into the marketplace because it's becoming more of a free marketplace, which is the American system. The reason Obamacare broke is because it had too many restrictions, forced enrollment, too many high prices, and so on. And so there was never a free market. As the market becomes freer, more people come in. But because of the constraints that are still in place, as you pointed out, it's going to be expensive. Eventually, Obamacare will be disappeared completely in the not too distant future.
Well, for that, we have to rely on the Supreme Court, the very Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice who declared Obamacare constitutional. Now we have to rely on them to rule that indeed it is now unconstitutional because the mandate has been wiped out. Barry, thanks.